sky. Hold on to your breath, hold on to your heart, hold on to your home. March up to the gate and bid it open.
Okay guys, here we go. This is video number 4 of the Synergy art piece that I'm doing with very famous actor, screenwriter Dan Aykroyd. And in the very first, the last piece we did the bird and a few of the objects down below. And those 2 lines you saw at the beginning of this were just actually guidelines. I don't put a lot of guidelines on my paintings, but that shows you exactly how I was to find the edge of the Earth and this planet that's all of a sudden showing up. The lines for artists involved, the lines that I put on there, they're just graphite pencil, and if you're going to use graphite on a canvas, I use just a real light spray of Krylon Clear, or real cheap hairspray will actually make it so that the pencil doesn't smear. If you notice when I was brushing over it, normally a pencil would smear all over the place. Anyway, boy, I'm going really fast here. This is actually the planet Earth looking out of a window that when we were at Dan Aykroyd's place, I noticed that Dan was actually inspired by the colors in this fan window. It's a stained glass window that was put into the kitchen, and it looks like it was designed, I'm going to guess it was probably designed by Donna Dixon, because it was kind of a neat window. Fan windows, and what they are is pure color segments in here. And on the left-hand side, there's going to be almost like a pie-shaped green window, then a yellow window, and then on the far right is a blue window. And where I'm painting right there, it's clear, which really threw me off, because that's not normal. You would normally have stained glass all the way around, so if you had 4 segments, you'd probably have 4 colors the way it was started anyhow, and I was just pointing that out to someone that was sitting in my studio here. The center of the fan window is deep, like a blood red, which is just, it's a beautiful window, but the unique thing was where all of the major clouds are in the middle of that piece, right where I'm painting again, is clear. And that kind of meant to me that although there's a stained glass window in the room, it was really important to be able to see outside, and in this situation we're seeing the Earth from space, I guess. Anyway, I love the clouds. I was having some fun with the clouds there, and it's really neat. The closer, you know, when you start to do something like this, the closer you get to the Earth, you'll actually see the clouds in the foreground, but in the background they seem to be getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So now this fan window led me to understand my painting better. The window was there from the moment I started this painting. I had to have this window in here, and then I started to realize that the actual scene, the greens and everything that Dan had mentioned, and the background I did, really was reflective of being inside this ancient farmhouse that had some real, almost like spiritual feeling to it. It was warm and cozy. Dan always had a nice fire on for us, and at the same time you could just almost sense spirits floating around the room. So that's my portrayal of this. I really believe that that this is what it ended up to be to me. I'm trying to project the feeling to you that I had that day when we were at Dan Aykroyd's place, and experiencing a very unique person, very, very unique person. Danny is just amazing with his beliefs and his thoughts about the occult and sci-fi and everything else. The red window here, for artists again, this actually is not going to be a red window. You see I'm putting yellow in there now. The paints, when you have paints, you got to learn to know what your paints do, and my blacks and my Payne's grays don't like to have yellow put over top of them. So what I did with that one is I've actually fooled my yellow paint into thinking that it was over another color. And that sounds bizarre, but it actually works. And not only that, it gave it a bit of a warmer tone to the yellow. The little scribbles here are, the window has these, it's a very rough stained glass, and it seemed to want to catch the light even in the photographs I have, so I've tried to portray it as close as possible. Now you see I've left the earth not covered by the window. The earth is actually still in this painting, very, very fresh. I'm doing the same thing with this blue. Oh, that blue, I just love blue. And I'm doing that blue, but I'm leaving the earth. And then in time, as this dries, probably in the last video, you're going to see me just put a kind of a blue wash over there. I'm going to do a blue wash over the yellow window. Nice trick, guys, if you ever want to make something look like it's really 3D. Putting the glass over top and actually putting a glazing, which, I mean, people refer to windows as glazing too, but I do actually put a glaze over my scenery. So the yellow and blue windows will literally be windows with glazing on them. And here, this is exactly the way the window is when you see it. It's got red in the middle, and again, it's unique because it has that clear pane where it normally wouldn't be. So here, Dan, when he did these circles on here, these were painted by Dan. Any of the black pieces, those real bold looking black pieces, are painted by Dan. And that's what led me to certain ideas about the painting. And when I was looking at it, you start to pull spirits out and, you know, and shapes and everything else. And we just had a special weekend here, and many people saw different shapes that I never saw in here. But that's Dan's, when Dan did these circles, he didn't call them circles, he called them orbs. So to me, an orb, just using the word orb takes you to another spot with the circle. It's not a circle anymore, it's something that can have some magical properties. And I like blue. If you see me, almost every painting I've ever done, I've got what people are starting to call Suchiu blue. And I use a blue that's as pure can be, and because I believe that blue is a healing color. I really think when we look at blue, you go to this beautiful blue seaside, and you know, and it just seems to kind of bring you home and make you feel healthy inside. There's a freshness to blue. And anyway, these are crystal orbs. This one's going to be really unique, because I found on the far right-hand side of the painting, which you're going to see in the last video, is an actual skull showed up. But I'll actually show you that before I painted it. It was really, really cool. And that blue orb is going to be in communications with that crystal skull. Now this one here is it's a molten planet. It's the beginning of some planet that's going to, in millions of years to come, take the spirits of what are in the painting and grow into a planet that has real beings. Just a little story. Anyway, so it's not going to be, this is a really quick video, and I'm going to end off showing the painting the way it is so far. And what we'll do is the last painting is coming up. It might be a 6 or 8 minute painting, and we will be able to get through the whole thing. And there you go. We're going to fade this thing out, and we're on to the next.
Easy, Skippy.